Africa Education Watch has mounted intense pressure on Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta to immediately lift a 25% cap on GETFund to improve infrastructure in basic schools. According to the Executive Director of Africa Education Watch, Kofi Asare, very little is committed for educational infrastructure because part of GETFund is diverted to other sectors.
Ghana Education Trust Fund, GETFund, is the key infrastructure financing source for the education sector. The 25% capping on the portions of the GETFund by the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta limits the financing capacity to improve infrastructure in basic schools. At a national stakeholder engagement and launch of report on overcrowded urban classrooms in Accra, Executive Director of Africa Education Watch, Kofi Asare, said intense pressure must be put on Ken Ofori-Atta to lift capping on the GETFund.
If he uncaps GETFund, he will be releasing potentially a maximum of 25% of inflows to augment what we currently have. And if that amount of money is going for basic education infrastructure alone, it will make a significant difference. Yesterday at the GETFund forum, the chairman of the Education Select Committee was clear on it, that he advised the GETFund that this year's formula, he wants to see more and more allocations to basic.
Kofi Asare also wants both government and teacher unions to quickly iron out their differences to enable NAT, NAGRAT, and CCT to return to work.
The least we expect is anything that would derail the academic calendar as we plan to rather make amends.
You think they should return to the classroom while negotiating?
So I think that the strike will hurt basic education, the basic education if it continues. I want to be optimistic that as early as possible, both parties will resolve this matter amicably.
The capitation grant has not been paid for almost a year. Convener for the campaign against privatization and commercialization of education, Richard Kwasi-Kove, wants Ministry of Education to make basic educational infrastructure a priority and reverse collateralization of the GETFund. He said the opposition against the appointment of Dr. Eric Nkansa as the Director General of Ghana Education Service by the teacher unions are legitimate.
Now 15 lays down the procedure for engaging director generals of the various public sectors. Now beyond that, every sector has an act of parliament that also makes additional provision. And then within the sector too, we have requirements and then positions. So if you look at the position of a director general, it's a professional rank. So as you start as a teacher, superintendent 2, rise to deputy director general from director 1, before I move to what? Director General. That is how it is.